There's also some big news as well around who's joining the team.
Who's trying to fill the shoes of the goat, mate?
Yeah, well, actually, hey, I'm staying on too.
So you're swapping back to Ford, mate?
Honestly, the Ford needs more grunt.
Every team has at least one or two commercial managers in there that are getting paid a salary, and you're like, well, what are you doing? I know it sounds a bit harsh, but it's the reality of it.
Honestly, if Supercars don't change the rule around it, I would just be like, yep, take my 100 points for Sandown, please, because we are refilling this bitch and we're going for the driver's title.
Oh, no! He's in the fence! The boat's in the fence! Oh, unbelievable!
Sound check.
Sound check.
Ooh. Welcome, Barbs. You're on the RedBull.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, getting the wings on.
Get us going. I've actually had a couple of coffees this morning. We've got just before we do roll into what we're about to, or what's been broken this morning, but we've actually got a very exciting podcast this afternoon as well. So make sure you hit subscribe because Marcus Ambrose is in the studio. After we finish recording this one, the great man rolls in and we are recording a podcast with him. Everything I've seen of him online, it's always so formal. So I'm stoked to have him at the bar and be able to chat motorsport with the great man.
We might try and get him to relax, you reckon?
I hope so, yeah. Yeah, that's the plan, mate. So there has been some huge news this morning, Break, and that is that the GOAT has gone back to his roots on the farm. He's retired.
Jamie Whincup.
Yeah.
No more.
Whincup stepped aside. Now, I don't know if he'll be in the third car. I can't imagine at Triple Eight. That one, I have no idea. But as far as I know, he's actually stepped aside and fully retired. I can't imagine Jamie doing anything but just dropping the mic and walking out the room and then stepping straight back into his CEO role, which is, it's blown me away. The fact that he could do both and still be so competitive up until this point is just wild to be acting CEO and also, he's at every race weekend. He's effectively working in the race team and then just puts the brain bucket on and goes driving again. And he's still, like this year, stacked up as one of the best. Yeah,
it's crazy because I don't think anyone that's tried to do both has ever done either of the roles successfully where he's managed to do that. Yeah. So congrats on an amazing career. He is the GOAT, as you said. I
always joke because anyone that's done as well as him, like there's the Scapes and Ambrose and Murph, they're all in that category for me. They don't like the accolades that come along with their success. And I don't even know if that's the right word, but the fandom, I guess. And so I call him the GOAT just to shit stir him more than anything because it winds him up. But I genuinely believe he is the best we've had in supercars. And
especially in the modern era. Because, in the toughest era, I would say, is current day and, his whole career essentially, where there were a lot of professional teams, a lot of professional drivers. It's not like it was the 80s where there was a bit of difference between equipment and stuff. It's all...
Yeah, and I could even see whilst he was co-driving, the effort he puts in, it got me to another standard as well because... even Bathurst, when we debriefed Bathurst, I was saying, I'm going to bed looking at data and onboard, laying in my bed watching footage before the next day because I know that the guy opposite me, when we're prepping as co-drivers, when we're in the car, is doing the maximum. And for a guy who's been in the sport so long, to still have that work ethic, it got more out of me. And I think you lead by example in this sport, and he is the example. So, congrats on a huge, massively successful career. I'm very privileged to have got to sit alongside him on track in the R-Bar cars for a couple of years and see how he does his craft. But there's also some big news as well around who's joining the team.
Yeah, so who's trying to fill the shoes of the GOAT, mate?
Yeah, well, actually, hey, I'm staying on too.
Well, okay, we could mention that. Yeah, well done. You're going again. Yeah, so you're swapping back to Ford, mate. That's cool.
That is, and honestly, the Ford needs more grunt.
Yeah. Shit motor in the thing.
It's ridiculous. Come on. No, I'm just kidding. But it is very exciting for me to continue with the team. And yes, of course, switch manufacturers. That's massive. So I've driven for both across my time. Very proud to represent the brand again, as in R-Bar and Triple Eight and all the partners that go along with it. But also, to switch to Ford is an exciting time. I think that there's some really good stuff happening in the sport with Toyota coming in and then Ford and obviously new homologation team. There's actually some unknowns. I said it was kind of like Ferrari picking up Lewis. It was like, okay, we've got something in the sport to peak interest again. And there's a few of those storylines that will take place next year, I think, which will hopefully drag some fans back into the sport. And I'm stoked I'll be able to be a small part of that next year.
Yeah, I think Ford Motorsport globally is pretty exciting at the moment.
Yeah.
So to be a part of that family, I guess, is going to be pretty cool for you, mate. Pumped that you're back. Who is filling in the GOAT shoes, though?
Perdog.
Percat.
Yeah. So I think that's exciting. I think for him, it's for the team even. Actually, I don't want to say no-brainer because you had Jamie Whincup in the seat, but straight out of main game, match fit, fast, in a situation right now with MSR that's probably not the best team in pit lane, which is fair to say. But I think for him, it's you pick the best guy you can as your co-driver and straight out of main game. Nick's match fit, he's fast, so he will keep me on my toes next year as well, just like J-Dub did. And I'm super excited about it. I think it's crazy. We've grown up racing karts against each other since 1998, I think, Nick and myself. And his dad actually years ago sent me a really lovely message about just how proud my dad would be. And it was nice to get that from someone I've raced for so long and have respect for. And then, for his dad to send that to me was really nice. So cool to line up, 2 South Aussies, both from Adelaide.
Yeah, that's right.
And we get to duke it out in our little co-driver stints at Bathurst and the Bend next year. But big things, mate. Huge.
Yeah. And you may be able to say, you may not. Are the pairings staying the same, or is that open to negotiation at the moment, or what's happening there?
No, that would stay the same. Yeah, I'm obviously well embedded with the car 1 side, car 87 last year, but car 1 this year. And I'm working with Andrew and Will and the rest of the crew on that car has been unreal for me. And I would imagine you just wouldn't rock that boat, would you? I think, once the relationships are established, and I've kind of learned Andrew, and this year, to be fair, was the best I've felt of all, both years. Last year was funny. You would say you're more match fit, but the shift between car balance was so big. Even though I drove a 888 kind of car previously, customer car or whatever it is they do with their cars, the balance was so different. So to get used to it last year was actually a bit of a learning curve. The thing has a lot of front and, rotates on a dime. So the instability on the way in was a little bit to get used to, but that's obviously what makes the car go fast. So this year, it's funny, I really felt, I was like, oh, this feels like my car now. So it is funny to be 12 months out, but feel sharper this year than I did last year. So I wouldn't want to change, because you've got Brock's driving style. I did drive it at a ride day, actually, and I will note.
You said you hated it.
Oh, my God. He has the weirdest... Well, actually, it might be me that has the weird body shape, but I couldn't see over the dash, and then my legs were up around my ears. Like, my knees were so cramped up. I couldn't drive the thing really.
A bit like when I drove your car.
Yeah, exactly, at Winton that time. So it's funny how, naturally I jumped in the car with Will and it fits like a glove. I tried to drive Brock's, it was very uncomfortable, so no compromise. And I think Nick's a little bit taller than Brock maybe, but they're similar in height and size. So it works out as a good pairing on both sides, I think.
Well, that's exciting, mate. And there has been a lot of other news in the driver market. Will Davo?
Yeah.
No longer. He's got the lemon and sauce.
I wasn't stoked about that one, to be honest. I can see where the pressures come from to put in or go a different direction. And I think even the team's not expecting that next year they'll see an upward turn in success. I think it's a long term, which is fine. It's every team, like whether it's AFL, NRL, they've got to rebuild at some point, and the team's been doing that. And now it's time to do it with the drivers, I guess. Did it with Brody. Now they're doing it with Davo out and Ryan Gray in. But I guess for me, I just hate that we sign agreements, you celebrate a long-term deal or something where the team has faith in you, and then those agreements just mean fucking zero. Like, you honestly might as well do handshakes. I think you said to me a couple of weeks ago, why don't they just do handshakes? These contracts aren't worth the paper they're written on.
Text message is about as valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be in next year, mate.
Yeah.
Copy.
So that for me, and especially for Davo, who's had such a good career, it'd be nice to go out in your terms. You sign an agreement, you would expect that's honoured. Yeah. And I don't think...
We've seen that a couple of times with a few of the great... Tandout was a similar scenario. It kind of like all happened without a proper send-off and not on their terms, which is always a little bit disappointing for a great of the sport or someone's been around a long time. And
I know that, nothing ever ends perfectly, I guess, and I'm sure like people always say, why don't you just hang the helmet up and move on? It is still your living. So there's probably an aspect where you would just keep going around for as long as someone's prepared to pay you for, which, to put it in context for someone working your job, you should just retire. And there's young people that are just finishing uni that are looking for job opportunities in the markets. You should retire if you're listening and you're over 40 and let a young kid out of uni take your seat, because it's kind of the same comparison. I think people forget that this is our job. Yeah. We've worked to get to this point, to get paid, to go driving. To just retire is probably the dumbest comment I have ever heard. It's like, it just does not, it makes no fucking sense to me. So anyway, I think it's disappointing. Didn't get to finish his contract. Nonetheless, congrats on a great career. I don't know what next year holds. I think there's still one seat available.
Be interesting to see where he does pop up. Dave, like whether it be a co-driver or whether he does snag that last seat that is still rumored to be open. I don't.
What is the last seat?
Well, it's Aaron Cameron hasn't been confirmed, but I'd imagine he will be at BRT.
Yeah, right.
So I would imagine all the main seats are probably sewn up, I would think. But, I mean, this year's been a little bit different. Maybe not.
Yeah.
As we know, agreements haven't sort of stood the test of time. So
honestly, if you walked in with enough money to, and I think that's what's happened, it's like if you walk into any team with enough money to replace someone's contract for the following year, the drive's yours.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough commercial landscape out there. Another one is Richie, mate. Richie doesn't get to see out his year either. He's already packed his bags, and Jada is going to actually fill in this weekend at Sandown in that car.
And that one caught Richie by surprise, I think. And I think even a lot of the crew reached out to him, and they were shocked and disappointed as well. I can, again, see the perspective from the team trying to focus on the future.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Aren't we signing these kids up with a long-term plan for them? And if it is, you do have faith in them, why would you need to rush in 2 extra rounds when you're like, okay, we're going to sign this kid for 5 or 10 years? What's the extra 2 rounds? I get hitting the ground running next year will have an impact, but I don't see long-term those extra 2 events. Once they've had 150 events under their belt, you look back at the 2 and go, probably could have left Richie in at least honoured somewhat a part of his contract and said, yep, we're a man of our word and you can finish the season. And, yep, next year you don't get to, I think you had an extra year on there, but you don't get that one. But you can retire and do it gracefully, I guess, go out and try and send out your last 2 events rather than just the shock sacking as if you've like really done something wrong. And it genuinely doesn't sound like you did anything wrong. It's everyone I've spoke to is like, oh, we're just focusing on the future. Or Richie's like, I was blindsided. Like, good relationship. Everyone's messaged me and going, what the fuck? This is terrible. So odd one, I would say, there. And I actually don't agree focusing on the future is the right excuse. Because if you are, you must have short eyesight because... Yeah,
one round's not going to make it. One extra round's not going to make a difference to Declan or Jaden because they've both done supercar races before. So it's not like...
But even long term,
they're not going to get I agree with you. They're not going to get a gain out of that. So,
it might help them at round 1, but are you going to sack them at the end of next year? Like, if this was me, I'd be going in as a young guy going, oh, shit, like, I've probably got 12 months and they'll sack me if I don't live up to it. Like Declan, like, that's the thing. If you're putting them in now, you're actually saying, that's why
they want the head start.
Yeah. I don't know. And it is, anyway, it's kind of the trend of the pit lane at the moment is the contracts. It's a huge talking point because you sign them and you feel like, okay, I can go take a 3-year lease on an apartment or I can get my mortgage, sorted because you have some security. And it's like, I know it's sport, it's different, but I do look at it like when you sign an agreement, my old man would be like, you old school, like you sign up to something and that should never leave the drawer almost. It's like, we know we're in it for 3 years.
Yeah.
But now they're just like, oh, well, fuck it. Let's just change drivers. They do it in the footy, I guess, change the coach because it's the easiest piece of the puzzle to replace as well and then sell the dream for a couple of years to some sponsors and then just do it again. That's what most teams do. They like sack their drivers, sell the dream to a sponsor. Oh, we've got this new prospect. It's going to be amazing. And then in 2 years, it doesn't really work out. So they sack him, get another one, and then they go to the sponsors again. We've got this new driver. It's going to be amazing. But it's the same shit surrounding the product.
It's genuine. They don't know how to fix their problem. That, as you say, it's the easiest thing to change and hope that it gets a boost in performance. But the likelihood of that happening is probably slim because we know everyone that's in main game, they're all very close to each other for outright speed. So
I'm interested to see. I think the Premier one's a little bit different because they're probably in a rebuilding phase. I just don't agree with the 2 rounds to go sacking. That's all really. But I do think they're not happy with where they are and they've got RD behind it now and he is...
Well, he's going
to be pushing, Yeah,
as you say, RD's in there now, so he's there to do a job. And
So maybe they will. Like this could be the beginning of the future of Premier and it will actually come to fruition. It's just as simple as that 2-round thing. It doesn't sit well with me.
You put yourself in Richie's shoes, you'd feel pretty shit about it.
Yeah, well, even when you sign up to a team, you kind of, if it's not what you thought it was, you go, fuck, okay, I'm going to start looking for other options, but I'm going to honour my contract. Like it even says in your contract, you can't start to negotiate with teams until a certain point in the season. And I have always honoured that. I've never once gone up and down the lane prior to that date in the contract and tried to negotiate another deal. Whereas now it's like, obviously teams are, so it's not mutual.
Well, you couldn't anyway because motorsport cannot keep a secret to save itself. So as soon as you message one of the other team bosses, within 20 minutes, your boss will be dragging going, did you just speak to this bloke?
Yeah, yep.
So it'd be high risk. Hey, Scotty, you know how our hunters are always trying to watch races from all over the world, Japan, Europe, USA, but they get that annoying pop-up saying this content isn't available in your region?
Mate, tell me about it.
Well, imagine if they could watch any race they wanted anywhere in the world without any dodgy pop-ups or any buffering.
Well, it's funny you say that, actually. We have a brand new partner on the show who's built exactly for that, NordVPN.
Oh, here we go. Tell me more.
We've actually been using NordVPN whilst we've been on the road creating the content for everyone. It keeps your data safe when you're on those dodgy motel Wi-Fi networks. It hides your location, and it also stops those dodgy ads following you around when you Google something just once.
So if you love your racing like us, or you just want to keep what you do online your own business, grab NordVPN. It's fast, secure, ridiculously easy. Even Scotty figured it out.
Yeah, righto, mate. Well, if you want to get the best deal on your NordVPN plan, head to nordvpn.com/Apex Hunters. Our link will actually get you 4 additional months on top of a 2-year plan. And don't stress, there's a Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. So I will pop the link to Nord's website in the description of this podcast.
Sort your online life out, stay safe, and stream like a hunter.
This is an interesting one. So Tyre Power has announced they're leaving Erebus and going to MSR with Jack LeBrock, which isn't really a big surprise, but it does put a bit of a spotlight on the teams and their commercial departments. We've talked about it a few times. And it probably comes back to even sacking drivers on the spot. So teams are, and this isn't in the case of Premier. I think Ojeda and all that are paid. It's not the same, but often they're probably not choosing the drivers they want because, I mean, their own commercial department's probably not doing a good enough job bringing sponsors in at this rate. It looks like drivers are doing a better job than some of the teams at finding them. Yeah,
I've said for a while that in main game specifically that it's crazy that it's the top tier of motorsport in Australia and some teams get to pick the drivers they want, sure, but there are teams and seats out there that are purely dictated on which driver has the funds that can come with it, which for the top level of motorsport in this part of the world is crazy. That shouldn't be happening. And they all pay sponsorship managers or partnership managers a salary, and I'm like, well, why bother?
Yeah.
If you're then still going to just rely on someone to bring the helmet and the sponsor and then manage it, as you said, because they will manage that relationship. It's the driver's actually doing the managing of that relationship
100%, yeah.
The whole way through to keep the partners happy and stuff. So, yeah, I've thought that for a while. It's crazy that, especially in supercars, that shouldn't be happening. Every team has at least 1 or 2 commercial managers in there that are getting paid a salary and you're like, well, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I know that sounds a bit harsh, but it's the reality of it, to be honest.
I agree. If you can't, even if a driver brings a sponsor or has a relationship, the team should be able to service them in a way that the sponsor feels a real bond with that team as well. And then as well, you want to create an environment where your driver doesn't want to leave.
Well, it should, yes, solidify all of it. So the sponsor goes, hey, as an example, I love Walkinshaw and I love my driver there. So the driver feels comfortable.
Yeah.
Because he knows he's going to be driving, and the sponsor's comfortable because they're happy with him, and it just sticks them all together. Where at the moment there's like a big disconnect. So it should really go hand in hand, and everyone's happy. The team win because they get a constant sponsor they know is going to back them for a lengthy period of time. They've got a driver that's going to be consistent over a lengthy period of time, and everyone's happy and harmonious. But it doesn't happen.
And it can actually even go the other way as well, where I remember at Team 18, it was like not getting invited to sponsor dinners and things when I was the driver, and it was kind of expressed to me that it was because there's a concern over drivers building relationships with partners, with sponsors, and then leaving with them. So then I'm like, oh, cool. So now we're actually not even looking after them. It's just you've got in the mindset that, like, if I was to leave or you want to sack me, you're just trying to make sure the sponsor doesn't want to leave. And I'm like, this is such a fucked environment. Like that, when that happens, you're like, this is so, it just doesn't make sense. Like I remember when I signed with Triple Eight back in the day, RD went and introed me to all the sponsors and then did brand deals for me with the partners. And he went, well, if you've got a relationship with our team sponsors, you'll go above and beyond. When it says you've got 5 appearances in your contract, you'll do 8. You know, and it was just a way of making sure that the drivers were looked after, the sponsors got more than they could have imagined, and they never wanted to leave. And I'm like, that seems like a pretty good model. And I mean, obviously winning races helps find sponsors. Yeah. And there's only a couple of teams that can do that, you know, just because motorsport's fucking hard. Like there's not many winners when there's a lot more losers. But it's just disappointing to see that, teams like, you just got to have wealthy team owners now, and that landscape's changed as well. There's not a lot of team owners anymore that are racers. There's some business owners that own teams, and then it doesn't really matter. The profit or loss doesn't really matter, and yeah, they can survive without them. But and maybe that's why they don't put the effort into the sponsors, and they obviously just follow drivers around.
Yeah, I don't know. It is an interesting one. It is one that I've thought about for a while and just thought, well, it's craziness.
Yeah,
that we're talking main game. I get it in every other level. Yes, that's fine. You need to build your partnerships, but
surely they have commercial people that can find sponsors and then go, hey, that's the driver I want.
Yeah, it's like, to put it in perspective, it's like an AFL player going, yeah, I'll come play at Collingwood. Oh, but you got to bring Adidas with you.
Yeah.
And supply the boots and give us $100,000 a year and pay your salary. You'd be like that's kind of what it's like. You got the best people in the country doing it, but they're expected to have some sort of commercial relationship.
And it does happen, I guess, in Formula One as well, where like drivers have sponsors, but they're still like the teams are. I mean, they're obviously worth $1.5 billion. I think Alpine's just been listed for, so they're worth a lot, but they've got a lot of commercial backers as well. They're not relying on the survival of that team for a driver to fund it. Like that's literally what's happening right now.
Yeah.
You've got the drivers are, the team owners are, some of them are placeholders and the drivers are funding.
And look, it's a great position to be in if you're lucky enough to have
those sponsors in your back pocket.
A sponsor, that wants to back you, and that's awesome. But then it could also be the other side. You can be really unlucky if you're really talented, but you don't have that.
Yeah, and there's plenty of kids out there like that.
Yeah.
It's quite hard in our sport, though, to find those kids anyway, because I guess everyone...
You have to dip your toes in the pool somewhere.
Yeah, someone, usually the kids that, even now, the karting, it's hard to, I guess, unearth a talent that doesn't have money because they're not testing every week, they don't have unlimited tyres, they're not travelling the country or going to Europe and starting to compete because you just don't have the money, so I guess...
Yeah, grassroots racing now is where that's at. Like, as an example, I don't know, HQs or XLs or something like that is where you're going to find that because... mum and dad or a kid and his dad can spend $10,000 a year versus like karting, as you say, is almost unachievable for a lot of people.
Well, European karting, I think it's cheaper to go to cars now than run a world championship program in karting. Yeah. It's just wild. So next one was JC has signed up Team 18. That's another little, there's actually just since Gold Coast, there's been a lot happening. This is a Sandown preview we're doing here, but JC is now, he said he wasn't going to continue. He in an interview said he'd love to just go do what like Crompo did, which is just set up in commentary, but he's decided to sign on as a co-driver. What are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, I'm kind of not surprised because he still needs to earn money. And, I know he's dipping his toes in the real estate pool and all that sort of stuff, but a guy like that's raced all over the world his whole life, I would say it would be very hard for him just to stop.
Yeah.
You need some sort of transition period, I believe. So I'm not surprised he's going. Yeah, I guess I probably was a little bit surprised he went to Team 18, but I guess I know the relationships he's got there are quite good with Charlie and with Adrian Berge and all that stuff, so maybe it's not that surprising.
Yeah.
But, I think it would be good to see him still racing.
Yeah, I agree. And for the fans, we need drivers that bring you to the fence and make you want to tune into the TV as well. And coming Duros, there's going to be a heap of those drivers still on the grid. I'm surprised that back when I was teammates with him at Walkinshaw, JC said, his dream was to hang the helmet up and depart to south of France or somewhere and just never see supercars again. And I'm like, I guess things happen, family-wise and everything. And you go, okay, you do that. But now he's so well established with his real estate. Sounds like he's killing it there. And I'm actually surprised. I would say Snowy Rivers is going to jump over to Team 18, and I think that's the only reason he's co-driving again. I would say that's part of the deal is because he has a relationship with them. Yeah. I would say that he carries on for like an ambassador role or something like that with them next season, and then that's why he's doing it. Just because speaking to him and hearing what he's been saying all year, I don't think he had any motivation to go again. So I wouldn't suspect he's going into next season's enduro campaign motivated at all, is my guess. I think he's just going to turn up, drive around a couple rounds, might do a couple of seasons of it. I don't know. He could even do the super cheap if they've got a wild card there. I heard on the Full Credit to the Noise they mentioned that. So I don't know where they'd place him, but the fact he wore the Snowy Rivers Caravan T-shirt, Snowy Rivers as of Tasmania this year was already talking to Team 18. I just think it's more that, especially after how vocal he'd been on why he just wouldn't want to be co-driver, doesn't get to do the quali runs anymore. He doesn't get greens. He's like, why would I want to do that? I've been the main guy for so long. I couldn't handle going back to Bandit. Now he's like, I just couldn't step away from the sport. It's like, mate, you're killing it in other areas.
Yeah.
I don't see the desire there for him anyway.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. He's always been one that's really good with the commercial sponsors. Has always had good following. So
he's amazing. Yeah,
even just from a business decision, I'm sure it's a smart one for him just to go around again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
because as you say, Snowy and the partners he's got.
And the crazy thing is, we need people like JC because they're doing a better job than the teams at servicing sponsors.
Yeah.
So they actually bring people into our sport that then stay on after they leave as well. Like he's actually introducing brands to our sport that we love, and hopefully they stick around after, say, JC was to step aside, and they stay in our sport. And
back a young guy that needs some help or something. So I agree. I think it's good to have JC still on the grid because he's entertaining to say the least. And you never wonder if he's had a go. So
yeah, exactly.
I think it's good, and it's good for Team 18. I think to get someone like that as well.
Hunters, I just want to take a moment to thank one of our fantastic supporters, Shaw and Partners Financial Services. Shaw and Partners are a leading national investment advice and wealth management firm. They act for and on behalf of individuals, institutions, corporates, charities, and family offices. So, if you're looking for advice or assistance with investments or strategies, look no further than Shaw and Partners Financial Services. With a 35-year history and 8 offices strategically placed all over Australia, their financial advisors are within reach and ready to provide tailored solutions and advice. For more information, follow the link in the description of this podcast. Back to the show. One quick massive talking point, I guess, was after Gold Coast, DJR got 2 team points penalties of 50 points a car on Sunday for refueling the rig between the stops.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Supercars is changing that rule, but if I was every team inside the top 7 right now, I would be forward paying my 50 points team penalty and going, hey guys, here's my 100 per car or whatever. 2 races, 100 per car this weekend because we're going to cheat. Like we're going to fill up the rigs because 50 points is an absolute joke. Who gives a shit? Like you're not going to win the team's championship point, but you could get yourself through to the final 4 by jumping them in the pit lane.
Yeah, like if you win one at Sandown because of that.
Dude, and I've heard they were not the only ones
I've heard that
got caught at...
Or the only ones that were doing it.
Yeah, they weren't the only ones.
Yeah.
So you look at some of the pit lane times and stuff and you just laugh to yourself going, oh my God, and it's worth it. Honestly, if Supercars don't change the rule around it, I would just be like, yep, take my 100 points for Sandown, please, because we are refueling this bitch and we're going for the driver's title.
And just for, I guess, so everyone knows why it's an advantage is because it's gravity fed. So if you top the tank back up essentially, or the tower back up, it flows faster. So it means you get a shorter pit stop time.
Yep.
Just for those that are wondering, why does it matter?
Pretty cheap investment when the teams championship's kind of decided. Like you look at Premier, they're not in the top 7, but they're not even considering teams because they're switching drivers now and going, okay, we'll take a rookie on for the last 2 rounds, which Ojeda, to be fair, might actually go really well. He they were on the podium last year, Premier, at Sandown. So I actually don't want to make it sound like I don't think Ojeda will do that well. I think him and Richie would probably do the same job for the last 2 rounds. But yeah, if you're not in it for teams, fuck, I'd be prepaying my 100 points penalty for the weekend and going, yep, fill that bitch up. There's
plenty of teams that aren't in it for teams, really.
Heaps, man.
Isn't there? Like as you say, for the small, demerit, the small deduction. It's
100%. And you could see a lead change over a second in the pit lane.
Oh,
so
especially at somewhere like Sandown, mate.
Yeah,
like it's a short lap. It's a minute 8, minute 9, something around that. You grab a second in the lane, you've grabbed a spot or 2 easy.
Yeah. This is a fun one. I've decided to do a little merch giveaway for the Austin Cindric Adelaide 500 qualifying. If you can guess where he qualifies in all 3 qualifying sessions, we will send you a merch pack. Comment below on our YouTube and drop your predictions for the 3 races where he'll qualify because it is going to be interesting. At the end of this, maybe we give our predictions. But Cindric's in town this weekend. He's heading to the race team Friday morning to do his seat fit. Then he heads to the racetrack. I think time for practice 2 to watch.
Cool.
And Austin will also stick around for the race weekend then. That'll be his induction, I guess, to watch to the team. And then he goes to the Bend next week for 2 days testing prior to Adelaide. So how do you think? I mean, that prep sounds pretty decent. It's probably not the ideal track for me. Like, he'd be better off if he could do some laps at Sandown. He'll do the ride day, actually. Yeah. I'm sure he'll do the ride day. But the Bend's probably not very similar to Adelaide. But how do you think he'll go at Adelaide?
Just on that, if it was me and I was them, I'd be saying we want to go to the Bend, but we want to do the West Circuit.
Which one's the West Circuit?
The short one.
Oh, yeah.
Short, sharp, aggressive. More like what he's going to get at Adelaide for some of the angles of the corners. But that's just me. So
you're right, because there's not even a big braking zone as a hairpin, really, is there, on the long circuit? Whereas the West would have that hairpin into the right-hander, which would be similar to turn 9 at
just in reverse
Adelaide
sides. But yeah, for sure, I think it'd be far more beneficial to do that. So Tickford, if you're listening, Maybe tell Wayne Williams at the bend to throw the cones out there and do the West Circuit for him. But I think Austin will. How do I think he'll go? I think it's going to be tough. I don't think, again, everyone's very good that's in main game. Plus, they've got the experience of knowing the cars really well, and they know Adelaide really well. Yeah. So is he up against it? Yeah, bloody oath. So I think if he's inside the top 20, then he's probably done an amazing job at some point throughout the weekend. If he runs around 24th, 25th, keeps the wheels on it and all that, then he's probably done a good job. For what's asked of him. It's no different to, I guess, when someone goes and does a wild card. Like, your back's up against it when you're up against the regulars that are so comfortable in these cars and know the circuits and all that stuff. Plus, he's a NASCAR driver. He's sitting on the right-hand side of the car. Like, there's a lot of differences that he's going to deal with. The braking is going to be so different for him. Everything. So,
yeah, I think the braking is going to be a huge one.
Especially at Adelaide. You know how bumpy Adelaide is. And
even turn 4, the bumps into 4.
Yeah.
Turn 9 is such a big braking zone. You can lose, even if you lose 2/10 under brakes in 9, which he could do just under trail. 2/10 is 10 places even outside top 10.
How to hit the curbs there is so important, because if you get it wrong, you're probably in the fence.
Yeah.
They don't really jump curbs a lot, like the way that you have to at Adelaide. There's so much stuff that he's up against. He's not going to get 15 sets of tyres. He's going to have to try and keep those ones under it for most of the race and stuff. So, yeah, he's up to it. But I would say he's probably going to roll around 24th, 25th is what I'd imagine. But if he does that, as I say, and he keeps the thing straight, he's probably still done a good job.
Yeah. I'm going to throw a slightly higher one. I reckon he could qualify up around the 18, 17, which would be, you think about it, Will Brown qualified 16th at the bend. So
that's why
it's so hard. Like, I think by the end of the weekend, that's where I would like to see him get to, is like a 17th, 18th in quali. Because you got 2 races, Sunday qualifying. But the problem is, everyone's getting their eye in every time they go out too. So I'm just excited to see it. Definitely looking forward to seeing him this weekend at Sandown and saying g'day. We broke the news of him coming over, which was quite funny, because I remember when we saw him in America, we said hello to him, and I texted him, said, "You around?" He goes, "Yeah, as long as we're not doing a podcast right now," because he still couldn't announce that he was coming. So very excited about him coming out. It's good for our sport. We've also got Jesse Love, who's the Xfinity champion, coming out and doing Super 2 with Terry Wahoon. So lots of good things. But yeah, pop in the comments where you think he'll qualify in all 3 races. And if anyone gets it right, we'll send him a little merch pack. What
a story that was like for Adelaide. They've got Jesse Love coming out, and then he happens to win like the perfect storm for him.
Yeah, it's great. And I'd like to see him then come back and do main series. I think what he's doing is actually a really good plan for a follow-up main series round, because then you do Super 2 under the radar, be a bit more field spread.
Yeah.
You'll actually be in the middle of a pack. You'll race around some other cars rather than rocking up at the Adelaide 500 in,
against all
potentially 24th and run around down the back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like it. But Adelaide's going to be a fucking cool event.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. Some of the stuff they got. But, yeah, I
haven't even told you yet, but Thursday at the Adelaide 500, we are doing a live show now.
Oh, good.
So Supercars have said yes to it. Adelaide's agreed.
What time? I'm on track 3 times.
Quad lock. We can literally just pick a time in the evening or after whenever you are done. So we are doing a live show with Quad Lock at the Adelaide 500. Very excited about that.
Awesome. So it's Thursday now, not Saturday.
No.
Copy.
Yeah. So earlier. I hope you're enjoying this episode, but I do have to interrupt just quickly to thank our fantastic supporters that allow us to create the content for you. East Coast Car Rentals. If you're in the market for a rental car, think of those guys. And if you'd like a cheeky 15% discount, AHU15 is the discount code there for 15% off. If you're in the market to buy a car, not rent one, Lancaster Motor Group have got you covered for new or used cars. So think Lancaster Motor Group. Quadlock, fantastic supporter of our podcast as well. We use their products every single day on the pod using their desk mounts here. Also, we've used them to create the additional content like we did the Adelaide Motorsport Festival using their action camera mounts. So whether it's mounts, phone cases, they've got you covered. Quadlockcase.net. Now, the website for all of these brands that support us will be in the description of this podcast. Back to the show.
Adelaide's going to be a great event, and just love the fact that the thing outside the box and the cross collaboration between different sports. I know we've
sprint cars in the infield as well.
That. Oh, and just with the NASCAR guys coming out, you got sprint cars, which is going to be awesome. Definitely go check them out. They're so cool. There's a couple of American drifters, like some of the best drifters in the world are coming out. So, yeah, it's going to be super cool.
And we have no affiliation to the event. We are literally just
No.
excited for the event.
No, I even texted him the other day, say, hey, you got any discount on tickets for me? Because I need to buy something. Like, sorry. I was like, damn.
Yeah, especially
Still mentioned it.
Now we're doing the Thursday podcast. That just cost me another probably $1,500 to get Paul there and myself, but give us a discount on tickets. Anyway, Sandown 500, mate.
Yes.
Which I hate calling it Sandown 500. We cannot.
Yeah.
Supercars changed the name to V8 Supercars, and you cannot call Sandown the 500 anymore.
If it's not one.
Just two small changes, please.
250 times 2, you can call it.
Yeah, exactly. Format.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I put in a little note about the 2 p.m. truck unload. I think it's a little bit silly that it sort of puts the teams under a lot of pressure. So Thursday, 2 p.m. is the earliest they're allowed to unload the truck.
Is that because someone had already booked the track for half a day or something?
No, I think it's just I think the category, from what I heard, goes to teams and says what time he's flying in, so they can kind of try and book cheaper flights and then help him out there. But I think it's silly that we are on track Friday for 2 practices, 1:30 p.m. and 3:55. And I just think it's silly that, like, why don't we make Friday all Saturday, Sunday, and then arrive on Friday for the weekend? Because the 2 p.m. truck unload, and I think there's a curfew as well.
Sandown will have a curfew for sure.
All it actually does, and I've heard from some of the crews, that they're just stressed about getting set up in time. They're like, this is fucked. We actually get there. Some of the teams are arriving in the morning and they just sit around all day, and then they have to work their asses off to build the garages and get everything set up.
Yeah, the reality is the trucks will be waiting at the gates from 7 a.m. on Thursday. So you may as well let them park up, and if the truckie wants to start rolling cars out and shit, go for it.
Yeah,
But
and this isn't saving anyone really any serious money.
it's just, as you said, just putting a bit of pressure on for time.
Yeah. So Friday they do get 2 practices, and then, like, again, what a waste of time, 1:30 and 3:55 for 2 practices on Friday. Saturday is a good-looking day, 11:50 qualifying, then top 10 shootout, 12:40, and race 30 at 3:20.
Beautiful. Yeah. Sunday, basically rinse and repeat there, guys. We've got 11:20, we've got Boost Mobile qualifying, 12:10, you've got the top 10 shootout, and then 3:20 p.m, you've got race 31.
Will Brown had pole there last couple of years.
Did.
So form guide for qualifying is probably Will, but then based on this season, it's hard to go past Brock. Who's your pick on Saturday to get the podium, mate? That's going to be a...
Top 3 for the race?
Yeah.
I actually think Groves are going to be strong.
Yep.
So I'll put Matty Payne grabbing a win.
Oh.
That's going to drag him through.
Straight through to the final 4.
Yep. I've got Will in second.
Yep.
I'm going to have Cam Waters third. Yep.
I like it. That's a good podium. I'm going to go Will to get a win on the first day.
Right.
I'm actually going to say Brock second. I just think the T8 cars are very strong there. I mean, not to take anything away from me last year, but really, I mean, I carried the car all day. No, I do think, look at Triple Eight's history there. They're in Tasmania. They're very strong.
Yeah.
So 1-2 the first day. It'd be interesting, because even if Brock, because you need to win that first day to go through, to guarantee you through, because even for Brock, he can't give a win to Will because Will's 5th and outside the bubble at the moment, needs to get to 4th to make it. But he can't give one to Will because if on Sunday Brock has a bad day, he's not guaranteed to make Final 4. So there is no one on that first day that's going to be sacrificing anything for their teammate. It's going to be every man for themselves.
And then you've got guys like Brody Kostecki that aren't in it and don't give a shit, that can win races and cause trouble, and everyone else in the field that's not in the finals bit.
Yeah.
So
I don't.
Yeah.
Picking a Ford for third. I'm going to go Anton for third, actually, because I think I don't see the Fords being as strong as they were at Gold Coast.
No motor. It is the home of horsepower.
Yep, and the Ford
Sandown
does have more downforce. Like it's, and the Ford does have more downforce. I think it's pretty obvious. And when you look at Gold Coast,
should be good across the top.
And
then.
so I don't think, for that one corner.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to offer up as much opportunity for them at Sandown. But I could be wrong. So that's my top 3 for the first race on Saturday. Qualifying, I don't think is going to matter as much because I think over the 250k races, you've got opportunity with tyre wear there to move forward. Weather is going to be interesting though, but if it's dry.
It's meant to be a little bit wet, I think. Like there is a good chance of rain. Safety cars always, because it's kind of like a street track, Sandown in areas where there's not a lot of room, it's pretty easy to get a safety car if they're racing hard, which they will.
Saturday, I think, is going to be the day when it all kicks off because, in my opinion, that's the best tyre. It's the old one, not the 25 tyre. And that always, all year, you look back, the 2024 tyre has offered the best racing. and the 25 tyre is Sunday. So I think 24 is the Saturday is the one to watch, and that's where Will has been more competitive as well. Same as Woody, actually. Woody's very good on the old tyre.
Yeah.
So, I might be eating my words. I think Woody, actually, I didn't even think about that, but I've probably just assumed no Ford in the top 3. But
I think Chaz will be strong. I think Groves and WAU will be strong for some reason. I don't know why.
Sunday, same podium or mix?
Nah, mix. I think
you have to put a Smoky in there, so we don't just pick the favourites. Who's going to get a Smoky podium?
Okay.
Last year, Premier got one with Golding and Russell.
Well, I think Kai Allen could be on the podium on Sunday. I know he's still in the finals selection, but I think Kai Allen's a chance of getting himself to Adelaide potentially.
That's a good one. I like that. That would be
interesting.
interesting.
I think Ryan Wood is a chance for sure. As far as Smoky, so if you want a full Smoky podium, I'm going to go Kai Allen for a dub on Sunday. I'm going to go Ryan Wood for third, and I'll do Brock Feeney for second.
All right, that would really mix things up, because at the moment there's only 11 points between Will Brown and Kai Allen. So if Will doesn't win on Saturday, someone else does, and then Kai was to win on Sunday, there's every chance in the world Will wouldn't be in the top 4 and would be out, and you'd only have the 1 T8 car. So just going on it now, the final 7 is Brock Feeney first, Chaz Mostert second, Matthew Payne third, Cam Waters is 4th, Will Brown's 5th, Kai Allen 6th, and 7th is Thomas Randall.
Yep.
I'm a big fan as a spectator of the finals format.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to raise though, Chaz, we've talked all year about this format should reward race wins. Chaz was over 700 points behind Brock going into the Gold Coast, no race wins. So really he's only turned up for one weekend so far. I think he might be turning to be my favourite for Adelaide.
Oh, if he gets through.
How do we feel about that?
No, how do we feel? I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Because that's as big an upset as NASCAR's one-up. Like, you've got a guy 700 points behind the leader, done nothing all year, because really Walkinshaw should be top 10 with their eyes closed.
Mate, it's Jesse Love, Connor Zillich. It's the same story. Jesse won 2 or 3 races throughout the year.
Yeah, but Jesse was up there, wasn't he, in the championship? Like, Chaz was, like, I think it was 750. And really, Walkinshaw should be top 10 in the championship with their eyes closed, which they are. And then Goldie turned up for, and I mean, there's still 3 rounds to go, plenty of races, so he is going to be a deserving winner if he gets it done. Yeah, but it's just that question over the gap.
You pose a question, how do we feel about it? How I feel about it, Scott, is it's the finals rules, and whoever the best man in the end, like, that's the rules they're playing to, right?
Can't change it.
And that's the exciting thing about it, is you can have a bit of a shit first half of the season, and if you do turn up for the last 3-4 rounds, you're on.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, whoever wins it, I'm not going to say they didn't deserve it, regardless of how many races they did or didn't win.
Yep.
It's the same with Brock. If he doesn't win it, as an example, that's the cards that are dealt, even though he had such an amazing season up until the point of that.
Yep.
If that's what happens, then yeah. So I don't think, I think it kind of be cool as a storyline.
Would it have an asterisk over it as a champion?
I don't think so. Not to me. I mean, they're playing to the rules that they're dealt. Everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah, but like the championship is always the best over a season, regardless of the championship points.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I just think that's the rules as it is. They're claiming they're going to crown the person that wins the finals format as the champion, so they're the champion.
So do you think if you win a race during the season, that just shouldn't really matter for top 10? Because like Woody, for instance, won races, nearly didn't make the top 10. I thought the format should reward winners.
Yeah, well, it only does really up until...
It does at the end.
Yeah, that's right, up until...
So should it not be like, instead of, say, 150 points for a win, should it be like 175 or 180 points if you win a race, which gives you a better opportunity? Or it's like, this is where the sprint format probably needs to be reworked, is if you win the sprint format, it's only 25 points benefit. Maybe that needs to be a guaranteed to Sandown, and then if you win a race within the sprint format, that's a 25-point bonus in the top 10.
I still think the sprint champion or regular season champion, whatever we want to call it, should go through to at least Sandown as a very minimum.
If they do that, then they could give an additional 25 bonus points to everyone that wins a race.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying there.
Like, if they did that, it would
drive the people, because the idea of it is to try and promote people going for wins rather than taking thirds and seconds and whatever. Yep. So
whereas like Woody, you look back and you go, well, on the day where he crashed for like 5th, and you just bank points. And I don't think the format should reward banking points, which is what it actually does in the first, which you don't know until you get through and you start to look back and go, okay, Chaz had just banked points and it was his teammate who was a race winner who nearly got knocked out of the top 10 because of mechanical issues. Whereas like you look at NASCAR and Denny had mechanical issues, but he'd won at the right times, and which is what Chaz has done too. It's just an interesting talking point. Like I'm the same as you. I don't think if it's the format you win with, and if Chaz gets it done, fuck, he gets it done. He's the champion. I do think it you'd hate it a little bit that you finally win your championship, and then this is how you had because again, it's another year where you're 700 points really behind the leader.
I'm sure he may feel if that happens. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, as the driver, you might be like, oh, fuck, got lucky there.
Like Frosty, when we asked him Bathurst or a championship, he's like, championship, because it means you're the best every week.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't. It's like you only need to be good at 3 events, or really
you need to be
Goldie.
You need to be okay for the season, and then the last 3 you turn it on.
Yeah. But even okay, like top teams, an okay result is not 8th.
Correct. It's
a disaster.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. It's not like you're asking
So your final 4 then, to make it through, you've obviously got Kai Allen in there in your final 4.
I have a feeling. I got Kai Allen, I got Chaz. And this is where I contradict myself a little bit because I genuinely also think Matty Payne could be in there, but then I also think I got a top 5.
Chaz.
I still think
you're just going to pick the 7, aren't you?
No, I still think the 2 888 cars will be in there. So I need to drop one of my others. So if on that, I'll go. I think in the top 4, I'll go Will, Brock, Chaz, Matty Payne.
Well, that doesn't work because you pick Kyle.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to contradict myself.
Okay.
I'm saying if I'm using my brain, I still think the 2 888 cars are in there.
Yeah.
But if I'm just going, who do you reckon is going to win at Sandown, then I've kicked one of them out.
I'm going to go Brock, Chaz, Will, and Matty Payne. And Matty Payne...
Same as me.
Matty Payne might not be because he gets the result at Sandown. I am just bloody hoping he's in the final 4 because he deserves it. To be 56 points off the lead of the championship going into Gold Coast, he's like a Brock Feeney for me.
That would mean that...
He needs to be in. So they're my 4. And that would be, for me, a really deserving... That'd be cool. I'd love to see that 4 because Matty Payne's a rocket at Adelaide. Chaz is a freak there. Brock's a freak. I mean, Will's drive from last to first. It's just,
if that is the 4, it's a shame Cam Waters in there because he's good at Adelaide too.
He is, but hasn't... I mean, he might turn up at Sandown, but Goldie, you had to do what Chaz did.
Yeah.
You know, you had to have a weekend like you did at Sydney at the start of the year again. But
it's going to be interesting. I mean...
I'm a fan of it. I think it's good. As a competitor, I'd probably hate it.
Yeah.
It's not the right way, I think, to crown a champion. You're not really... You're a Bathurst winner now as opposed to a little bit, but it's
I agree.
Cool to watch.
For us sitting at the bar at home watching it, it adds a heap of excitement. No one knows. I mean, shit, anything can happen at Sandown, especially with some water.
Just add rain.
Just add
water.
So I think it'll be exciting as anyway. So whatever you're doing on the weekend, make sure you tune in and watch the races or head down to Sandown.
Yeah.
Jump in. Give us what you think on Cindric's results because Scotty's graciously going to hand out a merch pack for that. So make sure you do that. I'm looking forward to it.
Cheers. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.